Hello and welcome to the More Cheese, Less Whiskers.com podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and today we've got a great conversation with Amar Ghose. And Amar and some of his partners run a software as a service for maid companies, and it's called ZenMaid.com. And we talked a lot about it was sort of a very fractal episode in that we jumped around talking about each of the profit activators and how there are specific things that they can focus on in the during unit, in the actual understanding of how people are going to be using their service, what the dream come true experience that they're providing, that they can then bring into the before unit in different ways that they can do that. We also got to talk a lot. This is a great example of separating the compelling from the convincing. Profit Activator 2 from Profit Activator 3. We can focus on only the job of getting people to raise their hand. We want to start a dialogue. We want to turn invisible prospects into visible prospects. So I think you're going to find this very helpful if you have any kind of an ongoing membership type of service. This will be a great episode for you. So tune in. Amar.
Hey, Dean, how's it going?
How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to jump on a call with you.
Well, I'm very excited. So, Amar, how do we say your last name?
It's Ghose, so it's pronounced with an H at the end.
I suspected something like that. Okay. There we go. That's why I didn't want to say it, just in case. So, where are you calling from?
I am calling from Thailand, Chiang Mai.
Wow. Do you live there, or is that you happen to be there right now?
Well, so I run my business remotely. That when I started the company a couple of years ago, the goal for me and my business partner was essentially to just be able to travel the world and work from anywhere. So he's in Bangkok, and then I'm an hour flight away. So I just landed 3 or 4 days ago from Italy actually, and then he's based in
look
Bangkok.
at you.
Yeah, and so here for about 3 months, and then I go back to the U.S. for an event for our industry.
Oh, cool, very nice. So, tell me about what kind of your business, how it all works. I got a chance to take a look at ZenMaid.com, but kind of give you the whole backstory here and where we are right now, so we can figure out where to focus here.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess I'll start from the beginning, but I'll try to make it pretty quick and concise. So a couple years ago, I came across a post online that was essentially how to start your own local business, specifically how to start your own maid service from someone that was starting their own, and essentially me and a friend followed along with that and started our own maid service, and I was running that I was essentially the operations manager there for just over a year. I think it was 13 or 14 months. And during that time, my business partner at the time, he built our website and was doing a lot of our marketing and stuff. And he essentially built out the back end system for me to actually manage our cleaners and remind our customers and stuff like that. And so essentially I moved out of the area because I changed my day job. It wasn't something either of us were doing full time. And we ended up shutting down the company because he wasn't comfortable with me running it from a couple hundred miles away or whatnot. And so after that, I partnered with another friend, and we created what you see today on ZenMaid.com. That essentially I recognized that there were no softwares that were really out there that were serving the market well, and so transitioned from running a maid service to doing a software for maid services to help them with their scheduling, CRM, and then some marketing automation type stuff. And so that was about 4 years ago. I think it was just under 4 years ago that we brought on our first customer, and we worked on it for maybe 6 months before that, developing and me doing customer development and cold calling people and all of that. And so, let's see, I spent the first 2 years of the business that I was working full time. I used to do sales for a tech startup in San Francisco. And so I would actually listen to you and Joe Polish on the I Love Marketing podcast most days that I had, probably 2.5 to 3 hours commuting every day. So I've heard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, probably almost every single one of the I Love Marketing
that's awesome.
podcasts.
Yeah.
So including the Profit Activator one multiple times, actually. It was a good reminder and exercise to do that, before jumping on this call. So then, after about 2 years, I made the jump into working on this full time, and that's what I've been doing since. So my role in the company, I'm CEO. I'm completely non-technical. So essentially, most things outside of the product and our finances, I'm handling, right? That I'm doing the marketing, I'm doing the sales. I've recently brought on a lot more help that I've got a good team around me now. But for a long time, I was doing marketing, sales, support, and pretty much partnerships, anything else that would come up.
Yes.
So
you paid your dues. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so one of the interesting sort of reasons that I was willing to jump into this with my business partner is because I was trying to find a job in marketing, and with my background being in sales and having done philosophy and economics in college and stuff, no one would give me the chance. And so I pretty much figured that if I ever wanted to do marketing, I had to at the very least start out marketing my own product. And so very much like a self-taught marketer. I mean, I think if you sign up for my email list now, people get, an automated sequence for something 2 years after they first sign up. But that was written one email at a time and one step at a time. So yeah, I like to think that I've put in my my dues here, but I mean, I've obviously got a long way to go.
So that is very interesting. Are you where are you at now with the business? What's the situation there? How many do you call them members or subscribers, or what do you how does it work now?
Yeah, so we have about, I think it's about 250 maid services, mainly in the U.S. and Canada. We are technically international now, but we've got less than 10 customers outside of the U.S. and Canada, at the current time, that are using our software on a daily basis and paying us monthly for the service. So the business is doing well. We're healthy. We're profitable. It's paying for my business partner and I to live the lifestyle that we want to. We're still reinvesting a lot into the business that I would say, I mean, I definitely have much higher aspirations and bigger growth goals, but at the same time, I'm very happy with where we are, but that's in large part because I can kind of see where we're going, there's a lot more work, but we're in a good position.
I got it. And then how much do they pay? Do you have different levels, or is it one kind of monthly?
Yes, so right now, it's either $49 a month or $99 a month, and that's definitely something that I'd wanted to talk to you about. We're adding in a plan probably over the weekend or next week that's going to be $19 a month. But yeah, again, that's something that I'd want to sort of talk to you about, because one of the problems that we have right now is that our churn is always going down, right? That our churn, we never have from our current customers that our revenue actually grows during a month, because we don't have a usage model or something like that. So I wanted to sort of get your thoughts there. But yeah, I think on average we're paid I think around $70 a month per customer.
Okay. And what's the difference between the 49 and the 99? What is the difference in what they get or whatever?
So feature-wise, it's only actually one feature, which is our instant booking forms. That's something that they put onto their website and helps them to get new business. It's something they can, directly relate how much money they make off of that like singular feature. And then it's also based on size. So if they have more than 7 cleaners that are on their team, then they have to pay the $90 a month. Or if they have less than 7, then they pay $49 a month unless they want the instant booking feature, in which case they pay $99 a month.
Okay. So if we were looking at this as a tool, is this something that would be a during unit tool for the maid services? Like something that's helping run the business of it, like the scheduling and all the kind of systemic things that go into the business, and
yes,
or is
absolutely.
it?
Yeah,
okay.
it's like it's a basic necessity. They have to use us, one of our competitors, or like Google Calendar or pen and paper, but every maid service has to be doing the stuff that like our software helps them to do. They can't run a business if they don't have something like our software.
Okay, great. And are there any tools that help them in the before unit as well? Like if you look at, are you helping them get new business, or are you helping them exclusively just kind of manage the business that they already have?
So the primary product, what we're known for with ZenMaid, is mainly for the management. We do help them a little bit, like that instant booking form is for their website, but at the same time, like of course, the instant booking form doesn't bring them traffic. It helps them to convert the traffic.
Gotcha.
So we've in the past we've done a little bit of the AdWords like consulting, that we had like an independent consultant that was like working with us and everything. That would help them to actually bring traffic to their sites. That was like an additional sort of like monetization. We sort of shut that down mainly because like the results that we were getting for them, we didn't think were good enough for us to put like our name behind. And we're offering website services as well to help them with their SEO and to have like a web page that converts. But beyond that, we're not really helping too much on the before part.
Right, because that's part of it, right? Like when you look at what the whole thing is, if you're ultimately looking to create a dream come true for a maid service, right? What would that include? What would that look like for them? If there was a way that you could, include some things that help them get new business, that might be a big win for you, because otherwise, what are they doing, right? How else are they doing? How else are they growing their business? That's probably one of the things that might be helpful for them. But what's your best model right now for? Tell me about your before unit. How does it work for you right now? If you were to describe how you get new business, how you get new members right now.
Definitely. So we have a variety of marketing channels that we go to pull like maid services out of. So we do quite a bit of paid advertising that we use Google AdWords when someone types in maid software or maid service software. That were one of like the top results, in addition to paying Google to rank, on those those keywords and stuff. We use LinkedIn, which we do a variety of things on LinkedIn to get in front of people. The targeting options on LinkedIn are really, really nice. We have a lot of like directory listings and stuff like that. Pretty much every place that we can be listed for for like a SaaS directory, we're in all of those. And the top two that actually rank above us when someone searches for our keywords, there's two that consistently rank above us. We have paid advertising on those directories as well. and we're going to be exploring Facebook advertising next week, although my understanding from the consultant that I was talking to, it seems like that's going to be more nurture. Like, I don't think we're going to get new leads from Facebook, but more like retargeting.
Retargeting the ones, pixels. Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes
yeah.
Okay. And so what are the, do you have the economics of that figured out, that you can get clicks for X, and that you get, how many people opt in? What's the offer when they come on your landing page? That, if you're looking at the environment, is anybody typing maid service software, they come and they see your ad and they come to your landing page. How many, is that driving opt-ins for you? What's your model for that? Or are you kind of going right in to present them the service and they buy, or do a free trial, or how does it all play out?
So it depends on which marketing channel. So if they come from LinkedIn specifically, they tend to not be actually looking for our software like at the time. So for that, what we do is we offer a case study on how one of our customers built like an automated maid service. And so that's where we take them to if they click through on LinkedIn. And that's got a very, very good like opt-in rate. I don't remember the exact number. I can look that up in just a sec. If they come through the directories or through Google, then they're going to be looking for like a solution like ours on the spot, in which case they're taken to our homepage, and we're trying to get them into the free trial. We have it set up so that step one of them setting up the trial is just capturing the email address, and then step two requires the credit card. So we do like have a drop off there, but we get the email address first and then nurture them. And a lot of people, if they don't sign up like initially with the credit card required, will come back and will sign up like in the future, just because we have good email marketing and we do a lot of content. We've got a big community that we invite them to, stuff like that. And then we've got probably like 5 or 6 different lead magnets. So like if you go to zenmaid.com and you scroll down, I think is when you get to 40% of the way through the page, there's a little pop-up that comes up that offers them the 47 keywords that every maid service must know for Google. So that was just like research that I did for my own maid service, and we literally just put it into spreadsheet so that our potential customers don't have to do that research themselves, and that's a really, really popular lead magnet that we get a ton of people going. Yeah, even if they're not like interested in the software like ever, or they're just not like ready yet, that gets a really good opt-in.
That's great, and that's the kind of you look at that as something that is like tapping into that compelling desire to want to know those, right? Like that's going to be useful to them no matter what, whether they use your software or not. And that's where part of the thing that I always look at is separating the compelling and the convincing. So Profit Activator 2 and Profit Activator 3 is that even though those 47 keywords have nothing to do per se with your software, what it does is it gets them to raise their hand, and you've turned an invisible prospect into a visible prospect. So it's done its job. And a lot of people are hesitant or don't have that sort of mindset that they're just focused on, they want their opt-in piece to be, 3 ways ZenMaid helps you do this, right? Like focus, they want to be the center of attention and draw all the attention to their product or service. But you have stumbled onto something that is a valuable thing. When people come to that website, the most valuable thing that you can have as an outcome is somebody who now has a name and an email address that you can communicate with one-on-one. Because when they came, you had no idea who they were, right? So when you look at it, what I would suspect that opt-in rate would be fairly high for them. Is there? Do you have a sense of what that is?
Yeah, I do. Give me just a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that it's a pretty high, high rate. Every time I've looked it up in the past for like other entrepreneurs, they're like, wait, how many people?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that's like definitely something that I picked up from you guys on the I Love Marketing podcast. You guys had a lot of good examples of people calling in to like the free phone numbers for free offers and stuff like that.
Exactly. Right.
To raise their hands and essentially like identify themselves as being part of like your target market, or like the what's it called, the stadium, is it the stadium pitch?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So hang on, I'm just loading this right here.
Okay.
I almost got it. So welcome, Matt. Scroll box, there it is. So if I look at this, about 5% of people are opting into that, but that includes like our total, like that's 5% of our total traffic, and like our customers come to the same page to opt in, so they obviously come a lot new users.
Yeah. I think though, if you had that might be an interesting approach for you when people are typing in maid service software. Are there people who are typing in maid service marketing? Or is that the kind of thing? Do you ever? That would be what I would call an adjacency. Like, are you specifically bidding on words like that as well, where you're getting?
We don't too much, but the reason for that is because the traffic even just for maid service marketing is decently low, and so every time we've done keyword research into those sort of things, the traffic on those numbers is so low that like the Google keyword tool or keyword planner won't show us the traffic, right? That it's that low that it's, but we do rank for a lot of those organically.
Yeah. How many maid services do you think there are?
I always get asked that. I have no idea. Like 50,000, 100,000, like in the U.S. Like, because California alone has got to have 5 to 10,000. They're one of the biggest states, but just between like California, Texas, and Florida, I would guess there's at least 25, 30,000. So probably in the 1,000 range.
Have you ever done any direct mail? Have you ever bought any lists of maid services to test a mailing to? Or
never done direct mail. It's definitely something that I've thought about, of course, from listening to you guys. We've done direct email. We've done like cold email. That's how we sort of like started out everything, and we've definitely looked into it. I think I've just been a little bit nervous about it because I don't know, maybe it's like a limiting belief, but I just think it's going to be like more expensive for us to test out. And then it's a lot harder that like, I feel like you have to commit to something without knowing that it's going to work and then send out all the mail. And so it's one of those things that like, I know that we're going to do it at some point, but we just haven't done it yet. And I don't know when we're going to actually do it. So.
Right. Yeah. Part of the thing, like when you're looking at the idea is, if you can get something that works, a message that works, it's something that's pretty easy to control. Do you know on Facebook whether that's one of the selects that you can have in terms of is a maid service? Are there groups or ways that you've found to target maid services on Facebook exclusively?
So, well, the first thing is that we actually started and control the largest group of maid service owners, online, essentially.
Oh, nice. Okay. How many members?
It's only about 1,400 or so,
Okay.
or 1,500 now. But there's like another group that's bigger that's got like 3,000, but it's a lot of like solo cleaners and stuff, whereas ours are like they all have like multiple cleaners and employees and are more like business owners and not like just like cleaners that are maybe like cleaning like on their own or whatever. But so we have that, so we can always run promotions to them. That's one of the things I'm going to be exploring with that Facebook consultant, because one of the reasons I like LinkedIn over Facebook, like up until now, is because LinkedIn allows you to target groups. So I have 15 groups on LinkedIn that are filled with our customers, and we just run all of our paid advertising targeting those groups. And the last time that I checked, you couldn't do that with Facebook. So we could use like Facebook pages.
Yeah, you can't target groups specifically, right? Only whether somebody self-identifies as their occupation or whatever. Yeah.
So that's the thing. We're going to look at people that like specific pages, but the problem is, from the research that we've done, is that people don't identify themselves as a maid service owner. They might say an owner at, and then like they have the name of their maid service.
Name of the company, right? Exactly. Yeah. It's not like real estate agent or whatever.
Exactly. Lawyer, yeah.
Gotcha. So how much does it cost you right now to get an opt-in? Using LinkedIn or and have you tested, just out of curiosity, an offer that is specifically for the keywords, not driving them to the website, like that 5%? That you were mentioning there, I think that you could get a higher percentage if we isolated that offer, like doing it all in sequence. I know that people want to try and get as much as they can, but I look at this, that the job here, especially when it comes to sort of online marketing here, is to isolate the jobs of work that we need to do initially. So years ago I had a formula. It was like a infographic, but the formula was eyeballs plus emails plus hearts equal faces. And so I looked at it that the first thing that I want to do, the first job, is to attract eyeballs to your website. And then the second and exclusive thing that I focus on is getting the email address. And that's where, when we look at it, that the reason that I started using single purpose, right? The only thing that you could do is leave your name and your email address. The reason that I started doing that was because I recognized that the less that I put on the site as other options for people, the more people opted in. If you had the offer for your newsletter or whatever it was, that you had that and then 10 other things that somebody could click on, the odds of them opting in are basically 1 in 10, that there's 9 other things that they could do. Whereas if the only thing that they could do is leave their name and their email address, the response rates went up very high. Now, once I've focused on that, once I've gotten their name and their email address, now my only focus is on educating and motivating them, right? So that now I can make a special offer to them. So rather than trying to think of it in terms of, this is the only chance I get with them, I want to make sure I tell them everything, is let's start with, I want to make sure that the highest priority, I want to make sure that if nothing else, I at least get their name and their email address,
Yeah.
Because right now, yeah, even at 5%, that means that 95% of them are coming and leaving anonymously, you know?
Yeah. So
now, when you look at, I know you have other offers on your page there. So if we said, and it's not fair to isolate just that one thing because that's sort of a pop-up that comes throughout. But right now, using your current model, if we send 100 visitors to your site, how many opportunities are there for them to identify themselves, and how many people do that right now? If we sent 100 people to your page, how many would you would reach out or raise their hand, identify themselves?
I think that it would be in the 15 to 20 range, and so the reason that I say that, I just realized this is what happens as the team grows, and I have more things set up than I actually know what's going on. So similar to what you were just saying, I have a welcome mat that's actually on the website for all of our new traffic. And so I'm looking at that, like those numbers right now. And so that welcome mat is like a full screen, pop up, and it offers them the case study, like the automated case study that I mentioned for LinkedIn. That happens for all of our visitors actually. And so there, what they have is they have the option to enter their email address to be sent this case study on like one of our really popular customers, or they can click no thanks or like the X or whatever, and then that will bring them down to see the actual website, because obviously they were there most of the time, they were looking for our software specifically. So it looks like, looking at that, we get over 5%, looks like 5.1% of people that see that initial welcome mat give us their email address, and then another 5% that will go down through the page when they get 40% of the way will give us the email address when the little sidebar pop-up comes up with the 47 keywords, and then we get trying to think how many we get. I don't know what the actual number is now that we've made this change to the credit card required. But then in addition to that, we also are getting the emails of the people that are signing up for the free trial as well, which is also like a form of a lead magnet. So I'm thinking we're probably getting 15 to 20% of people that are opting in.
Okay. And so about 5% or so maybe will leave there. We'll take a free trial. Right there so. On the spot. Okay. And then you're pixeling the others, right? So you've still got for retargeting, you've got the other people that you can send other ads to.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you're starting to do that. You're not doing it yet, but that's what you're going to do.
Well, we have retargeting set up for Google AdWords already. So on the Google ads, we'll follow them around. But Facebook, we don't just yet.
I got you. Okay, perfect. So so part of the thing when you look at this, that your welcome page, your welcome mat, you've got that plus the I call it the escape valve, right? That the escape valve is no thanks, and they come on into the rest of it, right? So you look at it that in all of the highest converting things that I've used, I have a very single purpose approach to it. So if you look at emailmastery.com, or you look at gettingreferrals.com, where there are specific book offers or report offers, there's no other option. There's nothing else to do except leave your name and your email address. And so we end up, I get 60 or 70% opt-in rates on pages like that, because there's no other option, no other thing. And so when people are interested in something, they will, take the option that's available, right? If that's what it is. If I offer somebody a book if the whole reason that they're there is because I've offered them a book or a report or a lead magnet or whatever it is, and book has been the highest converting thing that I've ever done in terms of the perceived value of it and the desire for people to, opt in for it. But when you look at it, that level of opt-ins, 60 or 70% from cold traffic, is a huge number, and it's a big help, because now when somebody opts in, now you've got the opportunity to educate and motivate them in Profit Activator 3. So I'm giving all of my attention to the next job of work,
Yes.
So if I look at it, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, so a question there. So I definitely I've been aware of that, I guess, from like a theoretical perspective, right? That I've heard you and Joe talk about that multiple times. But my question here is, so one of the reasons that I guess I haven't really done that yet is because a lot of the times, with the exception of LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, we have done stuff like that, and it has worked. It has worked very, very well. But for example, from Google or from Capterra, which is the software review site, when people are clicking over to our website, we know that they're interested in maid service software. And so I wasn't really sure how to sort of marry the two. That I just felt it would be incongruent if they type in maid service software. Obviously want to show them an ad that's targeted of hey, you're looking for maid service software. We're the best. Click here to learn more. And I wasn't sure how to go from that to then essentially having a singular focused lead magnet. And maybe I just don't have the right lead magnet. But I felt it would be really incongruent for them to see that ad, to click, and then for it to maybe take them to download the 47 keywords report and have that be the only option, because it wouldn't have anything with the software. But I don't know, maybe that's a limiting belief, because people.
No, you're right. You're on it's the same, but there's a limited number of those people, right? I think you definitely you focus on what brought them, but so right now you've got that traffic source, but there's really only that's only happening on Google. Right? The only way that that somebody is looking for maid service software is if they type in those words, right? LinkedIn, if you're just finding people who happen to own maid services, right? And so I'm suggesting that you might want to focus on the thing that would be compelling to them, to get them to identify themselves and get in a conversation with you.
Okay.
Because right now they're on LinkedIn and they just happen to be maids, own maid services, but they don't know who you are and you don't have a dialogue going with them, right? So I think that it's one of those things where you start with what people are interested in. And if I look at it, if you look at it from there, part of the benefits and part of the things that you that would be a really cool focus for you is to think about what would be the title of the book that your ideal prospect would really want to own. If there was a book that would kind of let telegraph what their desire is, what would the title of that book be? And we talk about book titles and books as an example, because it's so easy for people to understand what that is and to say, I want that information. And so often you've probably heard me talk about books as aspiration, that it's almost like an acknowledgement that I want that. If somebody who buys a book called Financial Peace, there's a good indication that what they want is financial peace, or the 4-hour work week, or to think and grow rich, or whatever the title is. What would be kind of, where are we with your audience there in terms of what they would really be compelled by, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And so what kind of things would that be? I mean, even if you don't take out the marketing side of it, what's the actual thing that your relationship with them will deliver for them, you know? And I mean, the name Zen Maid, it seems like it's pretty, that's a great name in that you get a sense that, oh, this is going to be simple. It's going to be not frustrating. It's going to be, you know, and I'm just going from all the things that Zen implies, right? It's going to make my life easier and more peaceful, less stressful. So all of those things are kind of good indicators of the way it goes. But what would be, if you were to encapsulate the desire that people have, if they can't they don't know necessarily, the vast majority of your best clients don't have a software like what you offer yet, right? It's not that somebody's switching from one to another more than it would be somebody going from having nothing to having something. Would that be accurate?
I would actually say that more often than not, we're bringing people over from other softwares. And what's interesting is it's the same value proposition that you were just saying, that if you look, ZenMaid and sort of our branding and stuff of like, people thinking of being like more calm and peaceful. It's mainly people are actually frustrated with our competitors. We tend to actually have a harder time moving people over from pen and paper because they're not used to it and it's changing their habits. Whereas when they're already using either calendar or another software, they're already used to it, but they find us like easier to use. So in general, it's actually already people that are like moving over. But I mean, to just sort of answer your question, I think most of our customers are looking for either, just less stress in their business, right? Of just something that's less frustrating to use, or they're looking to make more money. That just the way the industry is, I get the feeling it's different with real estate or lawyers and stuff like that. I don't think there's as many owners that are making as much money as they want to and are pulling their hair out because they're stressed. It tends to more be that people are looking to make more money, and they're sort of we'll deal with the stress that comes with that later. Most of them are aspiring to make more money and to handle more cleanings in less time.
Yeah. And a lot of them probably they're not used to maybe treating it like a business per se, as they look at how to price it as a business instead of pricing it as what they would want for, a cash, per hour basis kind of thing, right? That's one thing, but running a business that offers cleaning service is a different thing, and they're probably not used to that element of it, right?
Absolutely nailed it. The number of times that I have people that go, "Oh yeah, this will save me, 10 hours a week, but $49, that's a lot to pay for a business." And I'm just like, that you don't sound like a business here. How does that math work?
Yeah, exactly. How does $10 a week? Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Got it. So part of the thing is, when I look at this, then is one of the great things about software, any kind of product, is that the best way to show it is that the more you show, the more you have the opportunity to get people to say, "Oh yeah, oh I want that," to showcase maybe even the best things that are how easy it is to do the things that that your software can help them do, and demonstrating that with almost like real a case study type of situations, to show that demonstrate and also show then the kind of before and after. I used to spend what would be some of the use case things that would highlight before, what their life was like before and what their life was like in the promised land after they've got this software, so that everybody can relate to. I used to spend this much time every week having to do this, and now with ZenMaid, it takes me this long, and here's how I do it, and to show, because you got those opportunities for people to see how, click by click, or how easy something like that would be to do,
Yeah, absolutely. We have a big like app redesign that's coming out next month, and so that's going to make the software a lot more like visually like appealing and stuff. So I've definitely tried to do what I can in terms of telling the stories of like before and after. But next month, what we're hoping to really showcase on the website is like actually how easy it is to use, either with videos of the new product or even like GIFs of like, do you hate this about your current software? Like, is this frustrating you? Here's like a 3-second clip of how easy it is to do in ZenMaid, and really make them feel the pain and show them how easy their lives could be if they sign up.
Yes, and doing that through real people who are using it. That could be a great thing too. What are the main things? Like, what are the main things that you would? Where would the big time savings or money savings or frustration savings come? What are the kind of main benefits of your offering? What would offer them that dream come true?
So that's kind of it's a sort of a hard one, or it'd be a hard one to actually show. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, because essentially what it is that most of our customers just tell us that like we're generally easier to use, but it's sort of like a little bit more difficult to get like more concrete than that. That like a lot of people just say that like the software is really intuitive, and like it just makes sense, is like what we hear from like a lot of the people that sign up for a trial and like really love us. I'm not really sure what like individually it would be. I guess really what it would come down to when people are saying that it's really easy to use, they're primarily talking about the scheduling functionality, that like we have lots of other like things that are in there, but essentially just like it making sense specifically for maid service owners of like, well, here's a good example. So we only really have 2 competitors that are actually specific to maid services. And then we have like 5 to 10 competitors that serve maid services, but also serve plumbers, electricians, and a bunch of other service industries. And so, for example, if someone has an appointment every Tuesday, let's say at 9 a.m., most of our competitors, if one of the customers drags an appointment from 9 a.m. on Tuesday down to 11 a.m., most of our competitors will either automatically change all of the appointments in that weekly series to 11 a.m., right? Or it'll just move that one appointment to 11 a.m., right? But the whole thing is that most of them do it one way or the other. And so one place that we stand out is that when someone does that, there's an immediate pop-up that's designed specifically for maid services, right? That it pops up and it says, hey, like, is this a one-time thing that you're moving down to 11 a.m.? Or is this like an ongoing change that you want us to change all of the future appointments? And so that's like a really, really little thing, but it's representative of like the entire thought that we've put into the entire system. And so a lot of people we get like comments on that are just really pleasantly surprised by like, oh yeah, of course the system would ask me that because sometimes it's this and sometimes it's that, and it would make sense for me to have the choice in a really simple and like easy to use way.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice. And so I bet that are there other situations like that could be that you could isolate, like that's one of those things. I think any one of those, like when you look at this, understanding what's going to make it easier is really tapping into the frustration that other people have. Like part of it is looking at if it's such a small world that there's really only two competitors that you have, that you look at the frustration that somebody might have without saying, here's how we're better than this. It's not, because that's what the people are going to expect you to say, right? And they often discount what you're saying that way. But if you're not overtly talking about we're better than Happy Maid or whatever the other competitor would be, you're looking at what the known frustrations are that people have with the other competitors and talking about that scenario and how your service works to solve that issue. Because then people go, I've got that issue. I hate that. They don't know that you are specifically talking about one of the competing softwares that they have, And so you look at it that it's if most of your people are coming from one of those two competitors, if you identify what even based on what your current users are saying, what their big frustrations are and what you're better at, just highlighting those without even mentioning the other, just talking about the frustration itself.
Yeah, definitely. I really like that.
That makes a difference,
Yeah. Every time I've talked about that, it's, hey, check out what we do that like our competitors don't, or like look at how much more sense like this makes in ZenMaid than like blank competitor. But I really like the way that you just presented that of like, instead of it really being a comparison of just going like, isn't this frustrating, and then like showing how to do it without like bringing up anyone else or making it seem like we're like tooting our own horn, but instead just going like, you're probably frustrated by this and this is how we solve that issue.
Right. And that's the thing. I think if you look at it by creating your kind of chart for yourself, a grid or something where you look at what are the functions, the frustrations, the opportunities that you have, and highlighting those all as part of your kind of education process here, and that's kind of the thing where this is where it now comes into, where I talk about separating the compelling from the convincing, is once you've got somebody's attention, once you've got them where they've left their name and their email address, now you've got all the time in the world to kind of continue to educate and motivate them, and make your offers. Tell me about your trial situation, your trial numbers when you look at uptake on the trials and conversions.
That's actually one that I don't have too much information on like right now because we like just sort of like switched it over. So we have the credit card required trial. So I think that, let's see.
And have you tested that versus no credit card trial?
Yes, we have, and what it really came down to is so the ultimate numbers were were decently like similar. Like they were close enough that we could pretty much go either way. But given that like we're small and I don't have time to be following up with everyone, we decided that we'd rather require the credit card so that we get more people engaged. That like without the credit cards, there's a lot of people that would sign up and kick the tires literally the very first time they would come in and would never sign in again. And when we compared those numbers, realized that like for me personally, like it was much better for me to be following up with the people that we knew were more engaged, that would be in like multiple times and stuff like that. So let's see, I'm trying to think. So, I mean, honestly, like our conversion numbers right now are not as high as I would like them to be. And that's a big reason that, that's a big reason that we're doing this, like this big redesign that we have like coming out next month, because the big issue that we see is that like the people that sign on, that get to know the software, that engage with us, talk to me on the phone, or like talk to our appointment setter and our support team and stuff, they tend to say that the software is unbelievably easy to use and intuitive, but oftentimes they've got multiple questions in the beginning that we have to help them with. And the people that don't pretty much say the exact opposite, that they pretty much say, I couldn't figure out the software, it wasn't intuitive at all, it didn't make any sense to me, and they'll have a tendency to sit here and say, oh, I left the software because you guys didn't have this feature. And I would say like probably 60% of the time we have that exact feature in the software and they just couldn't find it. So I'm not sure like what the actual like numbers are, but that's a big thing that we focused on like with this redesign, that like every single page we went through and looked at and said, you know, what features are people supposed to know about on this page that they're telling us that they're not finding. So I really wish that we were doing this call in like 6 months when I could tell you like how proud I was like of our software, but right now,
So, so you don't know, even from a sense of, if we were on Price is Right, would it be 5%, 10%, 50% conversion if you get somebody?
Conversion from a trial, like a credit card required trial, to a paid customer is probably in the 40% range. And we're in like the 35 to 40%. And like we took a look at all the numbers and everything said that we were already healthy, but just the feedback that we're getting from people we're not happy with. But like we're in like the 40% range.
Yeah, I gotcha. And so, part of that, when you look at it with anything where there's a trial, is about getting them in and set up and using it, right? And that's really the thing. How long is the trial?
It's a 14-day trial, and we do a lot to engage them. But
you do a lot to engage. Is that what you said? So you do have a welcoming process and getting the most, the easiest thing out of the way for them?
Yes. So what we do is like that's something I think that we are doing really well. I mean, honestly, I think like most of the things that we're doing there are probably like ahead of like the actual product, that it tends to more be the product that's like, I would say more like the issue, because like when someone signs up now, they get quite a few like educational emails that are focused on like singular features. It's not like, 4 features in one email or something like that. We have a full onboarding process that helps them to set up like all of their settings. So before they even get into the software, they've set up all of the settings so the system is designed exactly with like how they want it to behave. We started about 4 weeks ago. We hired an appointment setter who's now calling everyone and then setting up the calls for me. And that like single-handedly in the past 4 weeks, we've seen our growth jump just from the engagement on that. And then we also do a full like concierge onboarding that literally none of our competitors do. That if if our like trial users are using any online system or online calendar, so Google Calendar or any of our competitors, we offer we offer them the opportunity to essentially change their password or share access to that with us somehow. And I have like an assistant who will actually go in and will move over all of their information for them. And so we try to remove like every possible like barrier to get them started on the software. And from there, it really just comes down to, do they like the software and can they see it like working for them in their business long term?
That's great. So perfect. I mean, that's the good, that's all good, right? So you see that every level that you take up is increasing it, the more engagement, hands-on that somebody's, because often it's just that thing of getting somebody into orbit, right? It's like just getting out of the atmosphere is once they're set up. Like I have a very similar type of software that we offer for business owners and for real estate agents. We have GoGoClients.com and GoGoAgent.com. And GoGo Agent is very similar in a way that it's specifically for real estate agents, right? It's got all of my lead generation and all the programs for realtors, coupled with all of the tools that we have in GoGo Clients, like autoresponders and landing pages and the CRM and text and free recorded messages, all the toolkit somebody would need as a marketer. And so part of the thing, when I look at it, that there are certain things that they only have to do once, right? Like setting up their mail merge profile, right? Like to get all of their contact information in only has to be done once. Getting their contacts imported is something that only has to be done once. Showing them how to set up one landing page, like all of these things, once they get those sort of orbit-like things done, that once they're in orbit, it's very, very easy and low maintenance for them to continue. But if they never get out of that orbit, that's why we focus all of our kind of attention on making those things easy, So I love that you've got your concierge type of service there.
Yeah, definitely. No, I just pulled up GoGoAgent.com. I love this. It's such a simple like landing page and everything. Like it gets right to the point. We're gonna model some stuff after this. I can see a lot of the things that you're talking about here, like in action. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you look at it, the only the option, and we have that same thing for GoGo Clients, which is for all businesses. So GoGoClients.com, the same thing. And if you look at this, the primary call to action, the primary thing, the focus of this is that free trial, right? Like it's crystal clear when you look at it that that's what we're focused on, right? It's not, so no credit card required, and it's easy for people to come on board,
Yeah, definitely. What I love about this is like your menu at the top. You've got the home page, which you're obviously on, and then your first three like things on there, like other than the pricing, is they're all like benefits, right?
Exactly.
Get referrals. Like I don't even know what's on ZenMaid, but I know like our different pages are not presented like that. I love that. Like. Yeah, I mean your menu up at the top is selling me on this already.
Right, and that's where when you have a software, you've got to think about what's the end result, the benefit, not the feature. Like a lot of people will focus on, they'll even have a thing that says features or has whatever it is, and then you start listing. Well, we've got a scheduler, and we've got this, and we've got the CRM, but what are the actual outcomes that these things, they're just tools to get that outcome, And so if you look at in terms of the features that you offer to wrap them in an outcome that's like really what they're going to love about it, or what the result that they're going to get is, that makes a big difference,
Definitely.
Yeah. So, we've talked about a lot. I mean, you've got so much opportunity. You got so many things going on there. I'd love to hear like what's landed for you, and then I'll kind of summarize too, because I see we were a little fractal in jumping from Profit Activator to Profit Activator just to get a sense of it, but I see some ways to kind of tie it all up. But what's your takeaway from what we've talked about so far?
Yeah, definitely. So I really like the singular focus of we've got quite a few channels that we could start using again, or like adjust, like LinkedIn, for example, where we could send people to dedicated landing pages to get them to start the conversation with us. And that's something that I was doing for a while, but then had problems tracking it, and so I shut that down. But like I know we were getting more emails and like building more relationships when we were doing that. Let's see. Showing more of, I have a note that says show more of the product on the home page, but I really think like what you were getting at was show more of like the results that people will get by signing up, of what's the end result that people are going to get from using ZenMaid. And so I think that's like a really, really big like takeaway for me. And then the other one that I had noted down that was big that I've got circled is essentially isolate like the little details that ZenMaid takes care of that like, are big frustrations for our customers, or that like our competitors aren't sitting here and addressing, and essentially showcase those, but not in a way that's sort of like us like thumping our chests or something, but really more being like, this is how we solve this problem that's likely frustrating you, every day. And like that's sort of like a rather than sort of like the way I think I've gone about like more like doing it, which is more like, I'd say almost like adversarial, right? Of like, this is why we're better than. So yeah, I think that those were like the primary things, but I've got a long list of other ones.
Those are all good things. I mean, that's great. Yeah. Part of, in terms of the, rather than the overt comparison to your competitor, is the, is how you're differentiating and that you solve the underlying problem. And if you can do that, that seems like a magic trick, right? That seems like you really get me, that I have that frustration. I didn't tell you that I have that frustration, or you're not telling me that that's a frustration of my this other competitor, but I actually have that frustration, and you seem to solve that. That carries so much more weight than you overtly trying to point out a weakness in your competitor. So that is, as a philosophy, there's a lot of depth to that. Now, you're set. I think that the thing that is going to differentiate for you initially is to serve that community in terms of in Profit Activator 2, focusing on how to just trade them something that's valuable for them, that will draw their attention, but give them the opportunity to find out about your service, because even though it's very difficult to start and get somebody excited about downloading, a brochure about your product or anything like that, they're very compelled by the keywords that they need to know. If they're trying to market their business and you can help them that way, that's very valuable to start the conversation,
Definitely.
Yeah. So very exciting. I think you guys have a really nice foundation. I mean, 250 members. That's a good base to build on. You're a going concern.
One more time.
You're a going concern. You got it. You got it going on. So you're on your way. I think it's really that. That's. I think applying all these things. I would love to hear from you. In 6 months or whenever you're up and running, to see how things are progressing. I think you say that too. It's like coming up on almost a year now of doing the More Cheese, Less Whiskers episodes. And I think it's going to be a nice thing to go back and revisit some of the people who were in the earlier episodes to see how things have progressed for them. So I think it might be good to do a follow up and see how things are going for you.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be awesome. I'm gonna set a reminder as well, just to make sure that I follow up and keep you up to date. We've gotten a lot better, like tracking and stuff like that. So I'm sure I'll be going to my team tomorrow and making some changes and stuff, and tracking like what sort of these things like do for us. And then really excited for this redesign that we have going on like next month, because I feel like that's going to be the one where just like from a product perspective, I think that it's actually going to really like change the funnel and change like our bottom line. But I mean, there's a lot of great things here, because part of like, it's not just an app redesign. We're also redesigning our entire website and the branding and stuff like that. So like, I think a lot of the stuff that like you and I have talked about today, it might not reflect immediately, but I think in about 6 weeks, when we get that new website out, I think that we're gonna be showing a lot. Essentially of like the stuff that we've covered.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks again for having me on. And I mean, I don't know, reach out if there's anything that I can help you with or anything. Otherwise, I'll follow up with you in a couple months and let you know how things are going.
Perfect. Thanks, Amar.
All right. Thanks, Dean.
Bye. And there we have it. Another great episode. I think we got a lot of great conversation there, a lot of great ideas around how to apply the 8 profit activators to growing any software as a service business or any ongoing relationship, especially where it's software or tool based, where you can demonstrate how easy the world using your product or service is going to be compared to what they're currently doing. And there's a lot of great psychology there in how to address things that would come up in a competitive environment without being so overt about them. So I really think that that's a great idea, to focus on the objection or the frustration that they're having without overtly connecting it to your competitor as a contrast. So I think there's some depth there for you to think about for how that applies to you. Now, since we're talking about software as a service, and we mentioned that we have a really great toolkit for any marketers, if you're doing any kind of online business, with GoGoClients.com. And GoGo Clients is our tool that offers all of the toolkit that you would need as an online marketer, especially if you're in a business where using landing pages and using autoresponders and using free recorded messages and a CRM and postcards, all those tools combining to all in one place for you really creates a great home base for all of the marketing activities that you have. So you can check out gogoclients.com, and we have a free 30-day trial where you can come on in, take a look around and see how it might fit for your business. So if you'd like to be a guest on More Cheese, Less Whiskers, just go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com, click on the Be a Guest link, and maybe we'll get to hatch some evil schemes for you. That's it for this week. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.